Well, good morning, everyone. Mayor Steve Wilder here from the city of North Canton. I hope you're doing well. Here we are, Wednesday, February the 10th, 2021. Hard to believe we're coming up almost at halfway point of February. Folks, as you're aware, it's Black History Month, and as we recognize, honor, and celebrate and learn more about Black history, I want to share a few facts and stories with you before I get into my comments today. All these have affected our lives in our nation, our community, and probably around the world. So I'd like to share the following with you. On February 10th, 1964, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was passed. The act made discrimination illegal on the basis of race, color, religion, national origin, and sex in public accommodations, employment, and programs that are federally funded. A substitute bill of this major piece of civil rights legislation was finally approved on June 19, 1964 by the United States Senate after a 50-day filibuster organized by senators from the South. President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the act into law on July the 2nd, 1964. Being a law and being an enforced law are two different things. It still took years for many areas of the country to abide by the Civil Rights Act of 1964. I want to share with you a couple things. It's February the 8th was the anniversary for the founding of Boy Scouts of America, or Boy Scouts USA. That was on February 8th, 1910, 111 years ago. Well, I want to share with you 10 prominent African American leaders who got their start in scouting. Throughout history, scouts of all races and ethnicities have gone on to achieve success in their chosen fields. Former scouts have become U.S. cabinet secretaries, flown in space, won Super Bowls, and led major corporations. It's a legacy that makes current and future scouts especially proud. So in celebration of Black History Month, I wanted to share a list of 10 prominent African American leaders who got their start in scouting. Ernest Green, Distinguished Eagle Scout and member of the Little Rock Nine. Now, Green made history as a member of the Little Rock Nine. That was the name given to the first black students ever to attend classes at Little Rock Central High School in Arkansas. In 1958, Green became the first African American student to graduate from high school. And in 1999, he was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal by President Bill Clinton. Guyon Bluford, Eagle Scout and the first African American in space. After serving in the Air Force for 13 years, Bluford set his sights on space. He was named an astronaut and in 1983 became the first African American in space. He logged in 4 space flights totaling 688 hours. Now, Emory Moorhead, Distinguished Eagle Scout and Super Bowl champion. Now, Moorhead played 12 seasons in the NFL, including his final 8 with the Chicago Bears. He was on the Super Bowl 20 winning Chicago Bears team that was famous for its Super Bowl Shuffle song. Though it doesn't appear Moorhead himself was in the video. After his NFL career ended, Moorhead served scouting. He's on the board of directors with the National Northeast Illinois Council. Now, that was quite a few years ago that he served on that. Chuck Smith, Distinguished Eagle Scout and retired CEO. Now, in Scouts, Smith got an interest in ham radio and building electronics. That turned into a successful career that led him to be the president and CEO of the Fortune 500 company AT&T West. Now, Smith, now retired, was a 2010 Silver Buffalo recipient, the highest award scouting provides for an adult. Togo West, Distinguished Eagle Scout and former Secretary of Veterans Administration. West served as Secretary of Veterans Affairs under President Bill Clinton. Has continued to support scouting as a member of the National Scout Executive Board and was past president of the National Capital Area Council. He was a 2000 recipient of the Silver Buffalo Award. Well, God bless Hank Aaron. Boy Scout and baseball legend. Aaron hit 755 runs in his legendary career, the second most in history, and Aaron is often incorrectly regarded as an Eagle Scout. However, he was a friend of scouting throughout his life, and the Boy Scouts of America, the BSA, presented him with the Silver Buffalo Award back in 1984. God bless you, Hank Aaron. Martin Luther King Jr., Boy Scout and civil rights pioneer. What can I say about Dr. King, the American civil rights hero? He was a Boy Scout from age 11 to 13. King was registered as a member of Troop 151 in Atlanta. The troop met at Ebenezer Baptist Church, now part of Martin Luther King Jr. National Historic Site. Colin Powell, Boy Scout and former Secretary of State. Powell, former U.S. Secretary of State and retired four-star Army general, was in Boy Scouts as a young man. He is a 1992 recipient of the Silver Buffalo Award. How about John H. Johnson, Boy Scout and magazine publisher? Now, Johnson founded the Johnson Publishing Company, which went on to produce Ebony and Jet magazines, among others. A former Boy Scout, Johnson often met with scouts in the Chicago area to describe how scouting helps low-income communities find and bridge out of poverty. He died in 2004. Ernie Banks, scouting supporter and baseball great. Now, Ernie Banks, known as Mr. Cub for his 19-year career with the Chicago Cubs, was one of the all-time greats. And not just in baseball, either. After his career ended, he showed his exceptional character by raising money for and speaking on behalf of the Boy Scout movement. Banks, a 1973 recipient of the Silver Buffalo Award, died in 2015. If you don't mind, please bear with me just a few more minutes. I now want to highlight a very special African-American woman, and that's Katherine Johnson. Many people may not know about Katherine Johnson, but if you ever watched the movie Hidden Figures, and that movie was released on January 6th of 2017, it's one of my favorite movies. I can't wait to watch it. I'll watch it anytime that it comes back up. And in that movie, Hidden Figures, that was about three brilliant African-American women at NASA, National Aeronautics Space Administration. That was Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson. And they served as the brains behind one of the greatest operations in history, the launch of astronaut John Glenn into orbit, a stunning achievement at that time that restored the nation's confidence and turned around the space race that galvanized our world. Please bear with me about this exceptional woman. Born August of 26, 1918, she died February 24th, 2020. She was born in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. She had a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics and French from West Virginia State College in 1973. She was hired by the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics Aeronautics in 1953, and she retired from NASA in 1986. Folks, there's a lot to talk about here, but let me just share this with you. I've got to. Being handicapped, or being handpicked to be one of the 3 black students to integrate West Virginia graduate schools is something that many people would consider one of their life's most notable moments. But it's just one of several breakthroughs that have marked Katherine Johnson's long, remarkable career. Again, born in White Sulphur Springs in West Virginia in 1918, her intense curiosity and brilliance with numbers vaulted her ahead several grades in school. By 13, she was attending the high school on the campus of historically black West Virginia State College. And at 18, she enrolled in the college itself, where she made quick work of the school's math curriculum and found a mentor in math professor W.W. Shefflin Clater, the third African-American to earn a PhD in mathematics. And she graduated with the highest honors in 1937 and took a job teaching black public schools. But it wasn't until 1952 that a relative told her about open positions at the all-black West Area Computing section of the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics. That's the NACA, Langley Laboratory, headed by fellow West Virginian Dorothy Vaughan. Now, Catherine and her husband decided to move the family to Newport News, Virginia, to pursue the opportunity. And Catherine began work at Langley in the summer of 1953. Just 2 weeks into her tenure in the office, Dorothy Vaughan assigned her to a project in the Maneuver Loads branch of the Flight Research Division, and Catherine's temporary position soon became permanent. She spent the next 4 years analyzing data and flight tests and worked on the investigation of a plane crash caused by wake turbulence. As she was wrapping up this work, her husband died of cancer in 1956. However, in 1957, the launch of the Soviet satellite Sputnik changed history in Johnson's life. And in 1957, she provided some of the math for the 1958 documents, Notes on Space Technology. Now, she did trajectory analysis for Alan Shepard's May 1961 mission, Freedom 7, America's first human spaceflight. And in 1960, she and engineer Ted Skopinski co-authored Determination of Azimuth Angle at Burnout for placing a satellite over a selected Earth position. And that was a report laying out the equations describing an orbital spaceflight in which the landing position of the spacecraft is specified. It was the first time a woman in the flight history division had received credit as an author of a research project. Let me share this. In 1962, as NASA prepared for the orbital mission of John Glenn, Johnson was called upon to do work that she would become most known. The complexity of the orbital flight had required the construction of a worldwide communication network linking tracking stations around the world to IBM computers in Washington, Cape Canaveral in Florida, and Bermuda. Now, the computers had been programmed with the orbital equations that would control the trajectory of the capsule in Glenn's Friendship 7 mission from liftoff to splashdown. But the astronauts were wary of putting their lives in the care of electronic calculating machines, which were prone to have hiccups and blackouts. As part of the pre-flight checklist, Glenn asked engineers to, quote unquote, get the girl, meaning Johnson, to run the same numbers through the same equations that had been programmed into the computer, but by hand on her her desktop mechanical calculating machine. And in the movie, I think you'll also see slide rules being used. Now, if she says they're good, Katherine Johnson remembers as the astronaut saying, "Then I'm ready to go." And Glenn's flight was a success and marked a turning point in the competition between the United States and the Soviet Union in space. When asked to name her greatest contribution to space exploration, Johnson would talk about the calculations that helped sync Project Apollo's lunar module with the Lunar Orbiting Command and Service Module. She also worked on the Space Shuttle and Earth Resources Technology Satellite, later renamed Landsat, and co-authored 26 research reports. She retired in 1986 after 33 years at Langley. She states, "I loved going to work every single day." In 2015, at the age of 97, Johnson added another extraordinary achievement to her long list. President Barack Obama awarded her the Presidential Medal of Freedom, America's highest civilian honor. She died on February 24th, 2020. She was an American hero, folks, and her pioneering legacy will never be forgotten. Thank you for indulging me with those facts and stories about Black history. I want to remind everybody that due to the pandemic, the Regional Income Tax Agency, known as RETA, is not conducting on-site visits to meet with taxpayers this year. Again, you can call them at 1-800-860-7482 for any information or questions that you need to be asking about your income tax. Folks, City Hall remains closed due to the pandemic, still protecting our employees and any visitors coming in or trying to come in. The building permits department is still open. A lot of it can be done online. Any questions, you can call call 330-499-5557 for information on building permits. Utilities is still doing work online. Drop your utility payments in the walk-up at the rear of the drop box at the rear of City Hall. Any questions, you can call 330-499-8223 and select option number 2. Or you can simply go to northcantonohio.gov for information on utilities. Our police and fire continue uninterrupted. Even with City Hall closed, if there's walk-up information that's needed, or if there's walk-up assistance needed by a citizen, just hit the intercom, and the police department someone will be there to help you. Again, our general phone number is 330-499-5911 if you need any questions or answered. Folks, be careful of cold weather. I know you've probably seen it on the news, but watch out for our pets, and please make sure that they are watered and well protected from the weather. And if you have somebody in your neighborhood that's elderly and you haven't seen them for a while, kind of please check in on them, make sure that they're okay. That would be a wonderful thing for you to do. And if you have any gas leaks or power outages, I have 2 sources here. One is from Dominion Energy. You can dial 1-877-542-2630. Again, their customer service number is 1-877-542-2630. And AEP Energy, theirs is 1-866-258-3782. Again, that's 1-866-258-3782. Hopefully you don't have any of those issues, but if for some reason you have a gas leak or you think there is one, there's a couple of emergency numbers you can call. I also want to caution you again about this time of year, because some people bring propane heaters into their homes, and that could be could be a dangerous situation. So I just want to caution you again from our fire department and in general, when there's a gas odor, do not remain in the house or building. Do not attempt to locate the gas leak, and do not open the windows. Do not use a telephone or a cell phone. Leave the home to make your calls. And do not turn on any electrical switches, appliances, or lights on or off, or unplug electrical appliances. And of course, do not smoke or use lighters, matches, or other open flames. Main thing is to exit your home, report your suspicions to the police or fire department, or those customer service numbers that I gave you. Now, CO detectors, carbon dioxide detectors, they provide a little second line of defense, but they should not be used as a substitute for an annual furnace inspection. Just some words of caution on that. The main thing is CO is a toxic gas which combines with the body's blood and prevents it from absorbing oxygen. And CO exposure produces flu-like symptoms such as headaches, fatigue, nausea, dizziness, confusion, or irritability at low levels, and vomiting, drowsiness and loss of consciousness, or even death at high levels. So again, if you suspect the CO has occurred, get everyone out of the house and go outside. Seek medical attention. Call a fire department or dial 911, specifically if someone has been overcome by the CO. Carbon monoxide, I should say. So, and then of course identify and correct the source of the carbon monoxide. Just some words of caution there for you to think about. There's no school this Friday and Monday. Something I found out is the Chinese New Year starts on the 12th. Trash pickup will be on as regular schedule for Monday on President's Day. So that's the 15th. Our North Canton Farmers Market is open today from 3 to 6 at 1447 North Main, the old Kmart property. Come on up and visit the vendors there. And I want you to know that I have been working on the special events for 2021. I've been meeting with groups and individuals and organizations. I had to cancel about 20 events last year and or modify or postpone. So hopefully we'll be able to revisit that this year and see what we can do to try to get reinvigorate and re-energize those special events that are so dear to our community. Word of caution, everybody, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. That's Sunday. And I just want to share some things with you about the vaccinations. It seems like our cases are starting to trend down a little bit for COVID in Stark County, but our schools are starting to get their vaccinations, and I believe we're starting to get into the 70 age range for vaccinations. And just to remind you that as you have registered, either by phone by calling 330-353-9010, okay, you can register that way, or you can go online again, and that is s.alchemer.com. That'll get you through to make an appointment through the Stark County Health Department. And that's for citizens here in the city of North Canton, since we're under their coverage of the Stark County Health Department. And I just received this in the mail. I want to share it with you because we have two facilities that are in North Canton that are administering the vaccine. And again, that is, I'm sorry. Well, Giant Eagle and Marks, I believe, up on North Main. I'm sorry. I lost my note on that. Anyways, here's what I want to share with you about the COVID-19 vaccine information. This one was produced by Giant Eagle. As the vaccine starts to become available at our Giant Eagle pharmacy, we understand that you may have questions about how to receive a vaccination. So they are there to help. The COVID-19 vaccines are by appointment only, and you can visit www.gianteagle.com/COVID for information or to schedule an upcoming appointment. However, appointments are limited and based on vaccine supply. But before you even schedule your vaccine appointment, be sure that you meet the requirements of the current phase of the vaccine distribution. So if you do not meet the requirements, they're not permitted to give you the vaccine, folks. You will need to reschedule your appointment when you become eligible. As I said last time, you just can't show up and say, hey, I need a shot. Once you're registered, you'll be contacted by the health department to set up your appointment. And once scheduled on the day of your vaccine appointment, go directly to the pharmacy drop-off window to get your vaccine as quickly and efficiently as possible. And bring the following information with you. Say a proof of ID or proof of date of birth, either on your license or a government ID or occupation, company issued badge or state or professional license, insurance cards including Medicare B if applicable, and pharmacy and medical coverage. You must wear a mask or facial covering and adhere to social distancing as you wait to receive your vaccination. Arrive at your scheduled vaccine appointment on time. Arriving late for your appointment could result in a need to reschedule your appointment because the COVID-19 vaccine supply is limited and appointments will fill up quickly. Just remember, after your first shot, COVID-19 vaccines are a 2-dose series currently. And for the vaccine to be fully effective, it's important that each dose is given at the correct time. An appointment will be required for your second dose, and the pharmacy pharmacy team will provide you with your second dose appointment prior to leaving the pharmacy after your first appointment. So I just want to share that with you, some things that I got. Folks, most of all, just, again, watch out for yourselves. I know there's light at the end of the tunnel. Better days are ahead of us. Just, again, even though you have a vaccine, it's not a free pass to just go out and do anything you want. Just a word of caution, that's all I'm saying. Just continue to wash your hands, wear your facial coverings, practice your physical distancing, and possibly limit your public your time in public. So Steve Wilder here, thank you very much for your time, and privileged to be with you and to serve you as mayor. We have a lot going on as we go forward in combating this pandemic and going on with our day-to-day lives. So thank you for your time and patience, and just take care, stay safe, keep well.